Hello, parents, and anyone else who might be watching this right now. My name is Mr. Prain, Michael Prain, and you are in 7th period CWL, Composition and World Literature. This is our sophomore English class at Mountain View High School. My name is Mr. Prain. It rhymes with train. You can see some facts about me on the left there. I went to Palo Alto High School. Both my parents were teachers. I did my undergraduate work at UC Santa Barbara. Later went on to Harvard Divinity School and studied theology for a couple of years. Don't ask me what I plan to do that. I'm still not quite sure. And after that, I went to San Jose State to get my teaching credential. We have another teacher in this class as well, Mr. Samuel McCoy. Samuel is coming to us from Nicaragua, where he was in the Peace Corps. And actually, he's coming to us from Mexico City, where he was in a program to learn how to speak Spanish and teach Spanish. And before that, he was in the Peace Corps in Nicaragua for 2 years. So he comes with us with a great wealth of knowledge and a very diverse life experience. It's been great to have him in class. So he is substitute teaching this just for this semester for Olivia Lynn, who is out on maternity leave. First off, before we begin, I really wanted to say thank you to the MVLA Foundation. If you can consider donating to them, please do. I have 5 Chromebooks in my classroom that can be used by students when they forget their Chromebooks. Actually, 2 students in 7th period used those today. So those were provided by the MVLA Foundation. They do great stuff with curriculum, field trips, outside of school stuff, inside of school stuff, athletics. They really do everything at Mountain View High School. So once again, if you can donate, it would be great if you could. So thank you again, MVLA Foundation. And if you've already donated, thank you. So we're going to be using Google Classroom this year, primarily for slides and all homework. I really try to be cognizant and keep my Google Classroom organized. You will see the slides on there, you will see the homework on there, and you will see what we do in class on there. I really don't like to clog it up with anything else. Some people put a lot of announcements and materials and all kinds of stuff on there, but I try to keep it very neat and clean so the students can easily find assignments and missing assignments if they have any. So what we are studying this year is, in quarter 1, we're going to be doing a lot of work on personal narrative. We're going to be focusing a lot on who the students, your students, are, and what makes up their identity, and how do these identities intersect with each other. The way that we're going to do that is we're focusing on Africa and the African diaspora. So we are going to be reading on the top left Adichie, Wanena, Uloa, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and just talking a little bit about intersection of identities, both in how these identities intersect within these authors, and as I said before, how these identities intersect within your 15-year-old students. Our second quarter we are going to be focusing on the novel The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. He actually grew up in Fremont, and we're going to be focusing a bit on Afghanistan and the refugee diaspora. We're going to be doing some readings from some Vietnamese immigrants as well. And then we're also just looking at, in general, the question on the left: how can literature provide a model for an effective counter-narrative, empowering those at the margins, and talking a little bit about the role of literature in experience, in the refugee experience, and focusing as well on more of those classical elements of character development, theme development, and supporting assertions with quotes, which is kind of more of our writing component within that. The third unit that we're going to be doing is a persuasive speech. Your students have all done a research speech for 9th grade, and this is kind of the up 10th grade version of that. So what we're going to be doing is focusing on a sociocultural problem or a historical issue, and we really want to make sure that second bullet point right there, that the students are analyzing the complexities of the issue. We do both, Ms. Lynn and I do a really, really good job at making sure that the students are not just operating on the surface with whatever topic they end up looking at, and focusing on the many different lenses that you could analyze a problem through. So for example, if a student does global warming, Certainly, we could talk about the dangers of that and the science behind that, but also thinking a little bit about the financial impact of that, or socially how that will affect people, and also looking at liberal understandings of that and more maybe right-wing conservative understandings of global warming. So just wherever the students are at, pushing them on their thinking and asking them just to look at more perspectives and more complexities of each issue. The last quarter, we're going to be focusing on Asian American writers and looking a little bit at Asian American representation in media, and talking a little bit about how how language and the role that it plays in reinforcing narratives and reinforcing power structures. So the students, once again, will really look forward to this unit. We do a lot with talking about just pop culture and portrayals of Asian Americans within pop culture, and the students really like to dive in and discuss this. This is our grading. As you can see, work habits, which is kind of more of the day-to-day little assignments that we ask students to do, whether it's actively learn or writing practices, are only worth 10% of their grade. The other 3 grades are usually summative assessments that we do at the end of our little mini units, which can be anywhere from 2 weeks at the minimum to probably 4 or 5 weeks at the most. We do allow revisions when students are not meeting the standard. So if a student is scoring below basic, which is kind of like below a C, we certainly want students to revise things to make sure that they're meeting our standards. Late work is allowed and does not impact grading at all in terms of the summative final assignment, but it will impact their work habits grade. All right. So how we are going to do it. So we are going to be building them up. We're going to be constructing. So gone are the days. I can't speak for everyone's high school English experience, but my English experience during high school was a lot of vocabulary memorization and a lot of character memorization about who was in what book. And we are not doing any of that, which I'm very happy about. So we're all about skill coaching and skill coaching them in those areas that we are grading them in. So coaching them in the areas of reading, how to read and understand theme or message development or universal message, writing, which is kind of more of a classic English grading category. And then also listening and speaking. So making sure that they are listening to others and participating in Socratic seminars, giving other people the chance to speak. And also when they are speaking, knowing what they're going to say and speaking in a clear and articulate voice. Of course, we hope that English class looks a lot more like this than my experience in English class when I was in high school. We're hoping that it definitely resembles more of a playground than a prison. That is for sure. We understand that English is not everyone's cup of tea, and I've already read in some of their letters of introduction that a lot of students get frustrated with the fact that there is not one answer like there is in math or there is in science, and that bugs a lot of students a lot. But I love all that stuff, and so I'm looking forward to having some fun with those interpretations and those analyses this year. We're also going to be doing a lot of reflection, so thinking about our thinking about others' thinking and how it affects our thinking. This is an English class, so we will do a lot of reflection in general about a variety of topics of meaning this year. So we always look forward to that, and that's one of the kind of the amazing things about being an English teacher is that we get to talk to students and listen and hear a lot of their thoughts about the world and what they make of the world, which is always very interesting and illuminating for us English teachers. So other instructional supports, we're going to be doing some reflective writing, as I said, goal setting and problem solving. By the end of the first quarter, we usually have a pretty good idea of where students are in terms of their reading and writing abilities, and so we tailor later lessons to those abilities. We have a tutorial period on Wednesday and Friday from 10:10 to 11 o'clock. Students can choose where they would like to go for that tutorial period. And students are welcome to either make an appointment with me or Mr. McClellan if they want to review an assignment or have any questions about English class in general. And then, of course, we also have the tutorial center. The tutorial center is now in room 310. The old tutorial center is now currently the main office, I believe, because of all the construction. But students are able to go there and receive help and tutoring in writing if they need it or want it. By far, the best way to reach us is email. I will admit, and please don't tell any administrators this, I am still unsure if my phone works, but I will get it hooked up by the end of the week this week. But by and large, the best way to reach us is definitely email. So if you have any questions about English class or performance or anything, if you have just anything that you'd like to let us know about your student and their performance, please let us know and send us an email. So I believe that is it. Please let me know, once again, if you have any questions or anything, and I look forward to a great year with your students. All right, take care.